After completing this lesson, you'll be able to apply transformations to components in the car, control the motion of components in the animation, and preview the animation. For this lesson, use the Create New Design from File and select the F1 Car Animation Fusion Archive file. Then, save it to your active project. Animation is a function that's built into Fusion 360 and accessible through the Animation Workspace. When you engage the Animation Workspace, you'll see not only does the toolbar change, but an animation timeline takes up the bottom of the screen. Your common navigation and display settings functions move to the top of the screen. In fact, let's change our display settings and our visual style to shaded. The basic concept of creating an animation inside of Fusion 360 is to create events that have a duration at a point in time. For example, the act of simply panning my model will automatically generate a view event. At the very bottom of the screen are the animation controls. I can go back to the beginning and press play to see the animation. Taking the view event and stretching it, then starting over and pressing play, you can see it slows down the view event. If you slide the view event to another point in time and perhaps change its duration again, restarting the animation, you'll see nothing happens, and then it happens at a later point. This is the same process for moving components around the screen, changing the visibility of components on the screen, and really anything inside of the animation workspace. There are some safeguards and options which make it a little easier to not capture everything you're doing. For example, let's delete the view change and move the playhead to the scratch zone. This is the area that's behind the curtains at the beginning of the timeline. When the playhead is in the scratch zone, nothing that you do, whether it be the transformation of a component or a change in the point of view, is recorded. Now that I have my initial point of view set up, I can move my playhead out to a point in time and change the point of view of the model. When I release, I'm able to preview and see what that looks like. That's what I was looking for. I'm ready to make the next change. Now I'll move the playhead out to 3 seconds. Expand the components in the browser and select the two wheels that are on the left side, holding Control in Windows or Command in Mac. Then I'll start the Transform Components tool. This will give me the same manipulator that we've seen in many other places inside of Fusion 360. I do have the option of changing the pivot of that manipulator, making sure to click the green check mark when I'm done repositioning it, and I can click and drag the axis to move the wheel out and set a value for the transformation. Now looking at the timeline, we see the two wheel assemblies began to move just before 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Let's play this animation back and we'll see what this looks like. A quick adjustment to the duration, and we're able to start building a dramatic image. Now I'm going to move my playhead to a new location and start a new transform event. I'll select the wheels on the right side of the car along with the axles. Slide them out a distance, clearing the axles from the body, setting the value. Clicking in an open space in the canvas will clear the selection. Before we make the next translation, it's important to move the playhead again. If we leave the playhead at the end of its last location, it will simply add the next changes to the previous changes. What we want is to have 2 steps rather than 1 step that seems to continue on. With the playhead in the new location, we'll start Transform Components again, this time from the Marking menu, and select the 2 wheel assemblies. We'll transform them out a distance, and I'd also like to change my point of view. Zooming in on this wheel, what we'll do is we'll change the view transformation to be right at the end of the transformation process. Let's check how this looks. this new point of view, I'd like to try a new transform tool on this assembly. I'll go to the transform pull down and select auto explode one level, and it will automatically begin to break up these components. I can use the slide bar to set the explosion scale. I can turn on the trail line visibility for its motion, or leave it off, and I'll select OK. Now let's take a look at the animation as it is. We'll press play. I'll slide down through the timeline using my wheel mouse to see how these events look. They look great. Now I'm ready to create a new storyboard and a new animation for a different purpose.